BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Sutherland and this is the Scottish Football Podcast for Monday, the 4th of August. What a weekend of football it has been.
It's now with McCowan, shuffles onto the left, shoots, deflected and in! And Luke McCowan finds the bottom right corner! And Celtic make the late breakthrough!
Another late show from Celtic as they overcome a determined St Mirren. And strong words from Rangers manager Russell Martin.
The thing I can't accept is whatever the tactics, like we got outfought, I thought. At the minute we pick and choose when we want to play football properly and when we want to run really hard when it's going well, and then when game's not going well we have too many players that want to do their own thing and slip into self-preservation.
The Rangers boss unhappy as his side drop points in the draw with Motherwell at Fir Park. And Bowie at the double for Hibs.
There has been another goal at Den Park, and it's another goal for Hibernian and another goal for Kieran Bowie. A mix-up in the heart of the Dundee defence. A simple task to roll the ball into the back of the empty net.
Hibs off to a winning start against Dundee. Is it going to be a season of struggle for Stephen Presley's men?
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sport Scotland.
We are recording this just after doing Sportscene on Sunday night, so I'm joined by Charlie Mulgrew and Michael Stewart. And one of the big themes from Sportscene this evening, Charlie, has been your huge top six.
Yeah, I'm just trying to filter it down there as we were off air. I was trying to think who am I getting the bottom six. So Dundee, Livingston, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, and I need to find another two. So we're just saying there, I've only left Celtic and Rangers that I've not said would get in the top six. So
which one of those aren't getting in the top six?
No, I don't know. I need to maybe rethink St Mirren there.
I just need to rethink your maths there as well. I'm sure, right.
Four.
Okay.
I definitely need to rethink St Mirren. And it's a tough one though, isn't it? Great league.
It has been a great league. It's been a great weekend.
Do you want me to give you top six and bottom six?
Okay, go for it, Michael.
I'll give you my league, right? Celtic will win. Rangers will be second, Hearts will be third, Hibs will be fourth, Aberdeen will be fifth, Motherwell will be sixth.
Okay.
But the gap between third and second will be narrower than before. Bottom six will be, I think,
come on,
Dundee United will be seventh, then Falkirk, and then, no, Dundee United, then St Mirren will be seventh, Dundee United, Falkirk, Livy, Kilmarnock, Dundee.
Dundee bottom of the table, Charlie.
Yeah.
That's how you see it? Right now?
Before the season started, I said Livingston.
Oh, okay.
Livingston, I thought Livingston would struggle. But after seeing this weekend, it's going to be a fight between, for me, Kilmarnock, Livingston and Dundee.
And you think Falkirk are going to be top six?
I think Falkirk are going to get in that top six.
Incredible. And you're going to stick
Nah,
with that?
I'm taking Falkirk at it. I've decided to take Falkirk at it. I just remembered that I had a wee pop at their defence. So we'll get Falkirk at that top six.
Brilliant. That helps you out, actually. That means that you can put Rangers or Celtic back in.
I'm going to go bottom six.
You're just looking over so you can see the badges, remember?
Livingston, Kilmarnock, Dundee, Motherwell, Dundee United to just miss it.
Motherwell no getting the top six?
No.
They will. They will.
And
do you want a wager?
Do you want me bet? Right, okay, we'll go
20 quid, Motherwell, top
20
six.
quid. Please gamble responsibly.
The hands are being shaken.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, you mentioned Motherwell there, Michael. It's got to be one of the matches of the weekend. 1-1 draw with Rangers at Fir Park. Motherwell getting so many plaudits, especially for their second half performance. Let's speak about them before we get to Rangers. How impressed were you by Motherwell?
I saw them against Morton in the Premier Sports Cup, and as soon as I saw, up until that game, the issues that have been, and I think it will remain over the course of the season, it'll probably define how their campaign goes as the end product, that final piece of the jigsaw for them. I think from defensive third right up to the attacking third, they will be able to compete with anyone. Just that final third will be the defining factor for them, which I don't think it's horrendous, but I think when you balance it out in terms of how good they are and that defensive to middle third getting up there, if they were comparable in that final third, they would be comfortably into the top 6 and challenging it above them. So I think I saw them against Morton. I thought very, very good. They got the first goal that was slightly fortuitous, but as soon as that goal went in, you could just sense the confidence started to flow, and it helped them massively. And obviously, as that game was playing out yesterday, it seemed like it was going to be one of those games where a number of opportunities sort of presented themselves. They couldn't finish it off, and it was going to be a classic sort of hard luck story. But I thought they thoroughly deserved their draw. Probably, arguably, should have got 3 points against Rangers there, but certainly I think it's going to be exciting times for the Steelmen fans.
I think when you watch first game of the season against Celtic or Rangers, you can easily get drawn into a team and get carried away. I liked what I seen with Motherwell. I totally agree with you.
You're saying Michael's getting carried away?
No, I just think listen, I done it myself yesterday. I thought they looked really good, but I just think when you look into it and the season goes,
you pulled yourself back.
I pulled myself back, and I thought that they're getting for the, as you said, they're getting up to the final third. I just don't know if they've got enough in the final third. And I think when they come up against teams like, fair enough, Rangers press them so they can play through them. I don't know how many teams will press Motherwell high that are going to imagine them against the likes of St Mirren. Are they going to break down a St Mirren, break away on them? And
okay, so a positive Saturday obviously from Motherwell. We have to talk about Rangers.
I absolutely loved seeing a team high press and play out for the back. It was brilliant to see.
Yeah. Russell Martin's comments, Charlie. Lucky to get a point. 2 men on the pitch who want to do what they want to do. And Russell Martin also saying some of his players have to drop their ego. It's not really tactical, it's a mentality problem. I said to Michael on Sports Scene, it's always a risk for a manager calling out players like this.
I think it was brilliant.
He's got this right for you?
I think it was brilliant. I think we want to see honesty. He didn't just come out and say it about his players. He said it to his players in the changing room.
Yeah.
I think he's the very same guy that if something tactically went wrong, he'd be the first to hold his hands up. He seems, I know he's very honest. I think that he's the same guy that if they have a great result, he'll put his arm around them. He'll tell them how much he loves them. He'll give them that love. So I think why can't he be honest? Why can't he be honest? And if players want to take that offensively, then they shouldn't be playing for Rangers.
Should Rangers fans be concerned by what they're seeing on the pitch right now?
I think it's going to take time. I think they've looked a bit vulnerable in the counter-attack. I also think for set pieces there could be a wee bit an issue if they don't get it sorted, but they need players. Similar to Celtic, they need players in that final third. It doesn't matter how much possession you have, you need to be clinical and kill teams off when you've got that possession.
Who were the 2 players do you think he was talking about?
I think it was, personally, I don't know. I would say Diamandi and Danilo would be my 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they were the 2 subs that come off first, so I think straight away you're looking at them thinking if there's 2 players he didn't like, they weren't doing his instructions or carrying out what he was asking, then you would take them off straight away. So I'd imagine it was they 2.
What are you making so far of the Russell Martin regime in terms of Rangers and how they're playing on the pitch, Michael?
Well, I mean, it's clearly going to take time, but I just think that Rangers as a club, obviously there's been a huge amount of change, but it always feels like they're building on shifting sands to me, and the foundations need to be put in place first, and doing that means signing the right types of players, and when you look and you compare with what is across the city at Celtic and you look at the core group of players, Rangers just don't have that. And I look at who they've signed and I don't see that coming in the door. So when you talk about, a mentality thing, well, that's all the more important that you sign the right types, the leaders that are going to be in the team. And I think back to, to be perfectly honest, since Rangers began this journey from the bottom leagues in Scotland, there has probably only been a short window where it looked like they had that core that were real leaders. That wee window under Steven Gerrard when they won that title, and you looked at the spine of the team and you went, they've done that now, and it's gone again. And you look at the team now, I would say that the squad and the team is weaker than it was last season. And last season clearly wasn't good enough. And they're hanging a lot on a young loanee's shoulders, and Moore coming up from from Tottenham as, you know, this X factor that's going to be able to excite and, you know, change the fortunes of the team. And there's no doubt he's got ability, but at 17-year-old and going and playing for Rangers with that expectation on, without what I see as the core leaders of the team, I think it's very, very difficult. So, you know, from Russell Martin's perspective, look, I know it's not all on his shoulders. You've got Thelwell behind the scenes, you've got others that are involved in that. But I do think there's an element of snobbery at Ibrox as well. I genuinely
In what sense?
do. They could have had Lawrence Shankland on a free transfer and paid, you know, only wages. And I think there's an element of a lot of these guys have come up from down south and they look down their nose at what's here. And I think it's to their detriment, to be perfectly honest.
Interesting. Do either of you see Rangers posing a real challenge to Celtic this season?
I think it'll be a lot tighter than it's been. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
No
probably
chance,
not a
Charlie.
challenge.
No chance.
I just think it will be a lot tighter, and that's based on Russell Martin and my belief in how he sees the game and he's him getting the signings in the door. Now, whether he gets his signings in or not is yet to be seen, but I think he needs to get these players in the door, these clinical players in the final third, these leaders that Michael spoke about, and I think they'll put a challenge up, because I don't think Celtic are in brilliant shape at the moment. They need signings in as well. They go.
Do you think they'll make those signings though? I mean, Brendan Rodgers has obviously had his say in the press this week.
I think they will, but I don't know what ones they'll. I don't know what kind of signings they'll make. They'll make signings, but you look at the money that's been spent there, and I don't think Celtic then go on to next year and spend the following year after spending money in Engels, spending money in Trusty. There's a lot of money being spent there for Celtic, and I don't think they just go again and start spending that money again. So I don't think they'll put big money. I don't know. I think they'll maybe wait to see what happens with the Champions League and then spend some money, but know that to the extent they did last year.
But you see the gulf widening, Michael.
Well,
There's a points total between the two this season.
I mean, to be honest, it's immaterial. I don't see it, you know, dramatically narrowing. Put it that way. It was pretty wide last season. So I mean, the only thing that's really of any real material interest is whether that narrows significantly, and I do not see that happening. No.
In terms of the rest of the weekend, what was this? What do I think?
He's on the fence, isn't he?
Who's convinced you more, John, or Charlie?
I think
or myself?
I think Celtic are probably more likely to spend bigger. So.
Will it be tighter this year? Not.
I suspect it might not be, because Celtic have the bigger spending power. But what do I know, Charlie? That's why you're here.
I don't have a clue.
You know what? This was such a memorable weekend for so many different reasons. The great Dougie Donnelly had to actually take to social media to convince people that he was still with us, because lots of people, Charlie, you're looking at me agog here, were worried because on Sports Scene on Saturday night, Tomo and Michael had put a picture of the great Dougie Donnelly on the desk, and folk were a bit worried that it was some sort of tribute.
I had somebody in my year at school was a spitting image of Dougie Donnelly. He just flashed right into my head there.
I thought you actually said you had somebody in your ear at school. I'm thinking, all right, okay, yeah.
Somebody in
Who's
my
giving
year
you all the
at school
answers?
was Dougie Donnelly spitting image. And
Wow.
it wasn't a guy.
Oh, I'm so glad I brought this up. Back to the football. We got to talk about Falkirk, haven't we? I mean, it was such a feel-good story at the end of last season from a Falkirk point of view, and the scenes were unbelievable on the final day of the season, Michael. John McGlynn dancing with the cup and all the rest of it. Today against Dundee United, did they look proper job Premiership level for you?
Well, I mean, look, they've come up against, you know, well, granted, obviously Dundee United just came back up last season, but, you know, you're talking about one of the big clubs in Scotland, and I thought they more than, you know, handled themselves and showed themselves capable of competing in the top flight. I genuinely think that Falkirk they'll be fine. I don't see them being, you know, in the midst or in the mire battling out a relegation fight. I do think they'll be in the bottom six, but I don't think they'll be in mortal danger. I think it's it's a real good story that we've seen unfold at Falkirk over the last few years, considering, you know, they were in a real difficult position. There was a real despondency, there was a disconnect between the fans and the club. All of a sudden, you know, they've got great synergy back there, and they're back in the top flight. It's a great story.
So Charlie, are they top 6 or are they bottom 6 for you?
So
You've got to decide now.
So before today, I'd have definitely said they would, but after seeing them today, I'm not sure defensively. I think that they need improvements defensively. I think on the ball, I give credit to John McGlynn and what he's done the last 2 years. I think it's brilliant. I look forward to watching them this year. I just think they're going to concede too many goals.
Okay. I want to get Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen in a second. Michael, you've already given us your table. It wasn't quite as slick as I thought it was going to be, but you got there in the end.
Well, the top 6 was slick. Then I was able to remember all the teams, and I wasn't looking over my shoulder to look at all the badges. So
before I get to those 3 teams, though, I want to quickly touch on Dundee, because obviously they lost to Hibs. And is it unfair for people to be talking about Stephen Presley being under pressure to get results this early in the season? Obviously, it was a terrible start in the League Cup as they lost to Airdrieonians.
Yeah, look, I really like Elvis. I've got a lot of time for him personally. I think he's a really good guy. But he's in a difficult position. You know, that's the reality, and I think a lot of that stems from the fact that recognition of what felt, and I think is fair enough to say, was a harsh sacking of Tony Docherty.
Just thinking that there.
And then also recognising that Stephen's not managed for a number of years.
Yeah.
And I personally always felt like he was better placed and was positioning himself to be more involved in the, you know, administrative side in terms of as a director of football role or some sort of executive, because I think he's very, very good. But he's going into a club now that there's been a lot of self-inflicted change. There's turnover of players, obviously a new manager coming in, and I think there's I'm surmising here, but I get the sense that there is a feeling of trepidation and a wee bit of anxiety from the Dundee supporters as well, which all feeds into that little bit, you know, negativity that is surrounding it. So yes, it's unfair and it's harsh, but that's football.
In terms of the race for third, and who knows how it's going to go, but if you're looking at Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs, obviously Hearts and Aberdeen play at Tynecastle Monday night. Charlie, who out of those 3 would you tip strongest?
Without seeing a lot of Hearts and Aberdeen recently, obviously the season's just started, I'm going to have to say Hibs.
Yeah.
I think Hibs will get third. I think David Gray's done a great job. We spoke about behind the scenes with Malky and Marsh, making good signings, sensible signings. Josh Mulligan's a brilliant signing for me. Jamie McGrath fits into the system, players that fit the system, and David Gray's brought in, he suit the way they continue what they were doing last year with the back 3 and the wing backs, putting crosses in the box. And yeah, I think they'll be Bowie as well, big player for them this year, 2 already to start the season. I think Hibs will do it this year, finish third.
It's the first year that looking at those 3 teams you're talking about, you know, Hearts, Hibs and Aberdeen, that I look at it and I say, I don't see 1 or 2 of them having a nuclear. And over the last few years there has been, you know, either 1 or 2 of them that have been nowhere near where they should be. The 3 of them, I think, will be very competitive. Aberdeen's still an element of the unknown.
I'm a wee bit unsure about Aberdeen.
A wee bit of the unknown in terms of, because we've not seen.
Plus they'll have European football to contend with as well, which can also take the edge.
I was just about to say, we've not seen them this campaign yet, and they've got the European group stage football to contend with. So I still think they'll be competitive, but I would put them just, you know, as I said in my sort of prediction for the league, slightly below the 2 Edinburgh clubs. But it's great to see that, you know, when I'm looking at those 3 teams in particular, I do see the 3 of them and the clubs as a whole in such a better position than they've been for a number of years. And I do think that the 2 Edinburgh clubs in particular will have a real ding-dong battle for third.
How good a game is it going to be between Hearts and Aberdeen, do you reckon, Monday night? Derek McInnes in the Tynecastle dugout.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see what Hearts look like this year.
There's so much going for Hearts, isn't there, with the Tony Bloom stuff as well. Derek McInnes coming through the door, he knows what he's doing, obviously.
Yeah, they'll deserve that deserved a chance at a job like that, and I think he's going to grab it with both hands. I think it's a job you can tell it's a job he's loving. He's made a lot of signings. It's a big club for him. It's he's got a real passion for how he sees Hearts as a team, and it fits his management style, the way the culture is at the club, the way he wants them fighting and up in people's faces at Tynecastle. So no, I'm really excited. The league's going to be brilliant this year. I think it's going to be really exciting with Edinburgh clubs, with Aberdeen, teams fighting for teams like you see like Motherwell the other day, the way they played. When's the last time you seen a team press Rangers like that and also play for the back and get through a press for Celtic or Rangers and have a lot of possession? I think that Falkirk coming in with their style of play, they're going to have possession this year. It's going to be some great games. I can't wait. It's
fantastic, and it's been a weekend of surprises as well, Michael, because Livingston weren't last on Sports Scene on Saturday.
Indeed.
Was that your decision? Are you going to take the credit for that?
No, as I said, due to the fact that there was only one 3 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday, as long as David Martindale makes sure that they play at 3 and nobody else does, they'll be first every week.
They get a penalty should never have been though.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, true. No penalty kick.
Has it whetted your appetite for the rest of the season?
Absolutely. Everything that Charlie's just said there. When I look at exactly that, there's a few of the teams that are very much in the category of total football and not just playing it at like properly.
David Martindale's kind of said as well, hasn't he? He said this year that he's going to play in a certain manner.
Yep.
He doesn't care. Well, he obviously cares about results, but he's going to focus mainly on playing out for the back. And if it doesn't go that the way he wants it to, he'll continue to play that way. I've heard him saying something along those lines, so I'm going to be interested in seeing that. When's the last time we actually saw teams so many different styles of play in the one league? And
apparently their AstroTurf is brilliant, by the way. Livingston's new AstroTurf.
I think it's carpet into it. They've put a square metre carpet down.
Charlie, Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure. You can go home now. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Cheers. Thanks, Charles.
Do remember we're here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day. So to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Scottish Football, the gift that keeps on giving. Thanks for listening.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.